I used to think money could fix anything. That if a problem existed, I could throw enough zeros at it until it disappeared. For most of my life, that belief worked. I built an empire from nothing, skyscrapers, private jets, luxury cars, the whole fantasy. But all the gold in my vault couldn't heal the one person I loved most, my daughter, Lily. She was only 8 when the accident happened. One rainy morning, a driver lost control, and her small body never walked again. In an instant, my world collapsed into a wheelchair. Her laughter faded, her spark dimmed, and the mansion that once felt like heaven turned into a silent tomb of guilt and regret. I'd have given every dollar I ever earned just to hear her run across the marble floors again. Doctors tried, therapists tried, I hired the best, from Switzerland to Tokyo, but every session ended the same way, Lily looking out the window, staring at other kids playing in the park, her small fingers gripping her motionless legs. I couldn't take it, I stopped believing in miracles. Until one afternoon, one miracle found us. It was supposed to be just another Thursday. I'd been on a call with investors, discussing profit margins I no longer cared about. When I looked out my office window, I noticed Lily's nurse wheeling her into the garden, her favorite place, though she rarely smiled anymore. I followed quietly, pretending to read an email, when something caught my eye near the front gates. A boy, maybe 14, 15, ragged clothes, barefoot, thin as a shadow. But what struck me wasn't his appearance, it was what he was doing. He was dancing, not like a street performance or some rehearsed routine. No, this was raw, beautiful chaos. He spun, leapt, and twisted in the air as if the world around him didn't exist. His movements were imperfect yet full of soul, like he was fighting invisible pain through motion. Lily's eyes widened. I hadn't seen that look in months, the look of wonder. When he noticed her, he stopped mid-step, embarrassed. But she clapped, a tiny sound, barely audible, but to me, it was thunder. I walked closer, skeptical at first. "Hey, son, what are you doing here?" I asked. He looked down, fidgeting. I was just dancing, sir. Didn't mean to bother anyone." His voice cracked with hunger and humility. His clothes were torn, his hair messy, his feet blistered. I asked if he needed food. He shook his head, shyly glancing at Lily. I just wanted to make her smile. She looked sad. That hit me. No one had made her smile in weeks. Not doctors, not therapy, not even me. Yet this stranger, this homeless boy, did it without even trying. I asked his name. "Eli," he said softly. "Eli from nowhere." He told me he used to live downtown with his mom before she passed away. Since then, he'd been surviving on the streets, dancing for coins, sometimes for food. But when he saw Lily sitting in the garden that day, he said something in her eyes reminded him of his mom, the same kind of quiet sadness he described. I felt a lump rise in my throat. The boy had nothing, yet somehow, he carried more empathy than anyone I'd ever met. That evening, I told my staff to give him food, shoes, and a place to sleep for the night. He hesitated, almost refused. "I don't want to take advantage, sir. I just wanted to make her happy." His words burned through the cold layers of my heart. I insisted, and he finally accepted. The next morning, when Lily woke up, the first thing she asked was, "Dad, can the dancing boy come back?" I smiled, a real smile, and said yes. Days turned into weeks. Eli would visit every morning, dancing in the garden while Lily clapped and giggled. He'd tell her stories about imaginary kingdoms and songs he'd heard from buskers downtown. Sometimes, he'd make silly faces until she burst out laughing. For the first time since the accident, I heard my daughter laugh. And with every laugh, I felt something inside me healing too. It was strange, the billionaire and the homeless boy, both saving each other in ways neither understood. Then came the day everything changed. It was raining again, just like the day of the accident. Lily was inside, watching through the glass as Eli danced in the rain. I told him he didn't have to, that he'd get sick. But he just smiled. "Sir, some people feel rain. Others just get wet." His words stunned me. He danced harder, faster, barefoot in the mud, spinning and leaping like the storm itself was applauding him. And then it happened. Lily stood. It wasn't a full step, just a tremble, a shift of balance, but her legs moved. I froze, afraid to even breathe. "Daddy," she cried, tears in her eyes. I felt it. I felt my legs. I rushed over, speechless. Her doctors later said it was impossible. But I saw it. She had moved. Maybe it was adrenaline, maybe divine intervention, or maybe, just maybe, love and hope had done what science couldn't. From that day, her recovery accelerated. Physical therapy that had once failed began to show results. The doctors were astonished. Whatever's motivating her, one said, keep it going. I knew exactly what it was, him. Eli didn't just dance, he breathed life into her. Every movement was a message, don't give up. I began to see the boy not as a charity case but as something far greater, a gift. I enrolled him in a performing arts school, got him a tutor, gave him a room in our home. He cried the night I told him, I don't deserve this, sir. I put a hand on his shoulder and said, you've given me back my daughter's smile. That's worth more than all the gold I own. Months later, Lily took her first real step toward him. The moment she did, everyone in the room broke down in tears. Eli just stood there, shaking his head, whispering, I didn't do this. She did, but I knew better. He was the reason. He had reminded her what joy felt like. He'd reminded me too. Then came the final twist, something I never expected. One morning, I found Eli staring at a photograph in the hallway. It was of my late wife, Lily's mother. His eyes filled with tears. That's her, he said quietly. The woman who gave me food once, years ago, when I was little. I never forgot her face. I couldn't breathe. My wife had helped him long before he ever helped us. Life had come full circle in the most mysterious, beautiful way. A year later,